Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great session here at the 8th Annual UAGC Early Childhood Conference. The session you have chosen right now is Making Change Happen. Bad children do not exist, bad choices do. Dr. Jennifer Ballard-Barkett is going to be your presenter. She's an associate faculty member in the MACE program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're so excited to have you here. All right. We would like you to take just a moment to read the disclaimer that's on the screen. And by taking these few moments to read through the disclaimer, you empower yourself with important information regarding the boundaries of our knowledge sharing environment. All right, next slide, please. All right, so on this slide, there's also another disclaimer that we would like you to take a moment to read. And then together, we are going to embark on some exciting new topics in early childhood education. All right, so today you have Dr. Jennifer Ballard-Barkett with you as your presenter. She has a background in educational leadership, special education, cognitive therapy, assessment, evaluations, and social work. She served 17 years as the principal of a boarding school for children with exceptionalities. Her work has crossed over several school districts in and out of the United States, which is super cool. She focuses on behavior modifications in various settings, specifically in the workplace. Jennifer is dedicated to helping educators gain a collection of tools that can easily and readily be used in the field when interacting with individuals who are making bad choices. I cannot wait for us to get this started.
Well, thank you, Dr. Shipley. I appreciate you guys having me.
Of course. So for the session gains today, the session will address the needs teachers face with the students exhibiting aggressive behaviors. As an educator, we have encountered some difficult situations in our classrooms. In that moment, you need actions, interventions, and strategies that will work for the students at hand, fellow peers, and just as importantly, you. Please consider joining Dr. Ballard-Barkett's session as we connect with resources to use in real-time class settings as we shift from bad choices to good choices among the children we serve. These resources give a variety of perspectives to move your class body toward a more positive direction, including proactive strategies and prevention. I challenge you to do more than talk about, but be the change. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. The world as we created it has created a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. And that's a quote by Albert Einstein. Attention all educators. The first day of school is like a race. Everyone is on the starting line, waiting for the first footsteps to enter the building as the race begins. Be proactive, not reactive. Tips before the bell rings. Taking time to really know your students, like the old saying goes, slow and steady wins the race. One of my go-tos, review prior school records. This will vary from district to district, but if you have the opportunity during the spring semester, begin to reach out to administration about future students that may be placed in your classroom. Obviously, this will need to be fine-tuned along the way, but the head start will make all the difference in shaping your proactive approach. I know this sounds like a lot of extra work, but even if you don't get those handful of students you reviewed records for, collaboration can surface as you share your knowledge with fellow peers. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, what about the kids that move into my district from either another area of the county or out of state? We won't reach 100% accuracy, but most districts do early registration with an online accessibility to make the process convenient and user-friendly. With that being said, we can get close. Reach out to previous schools and teachers. As some of you know, retrieving school records can be a lengthy process. So the earlier the better, especially before summer when hours of operation could be limited and many folks travel during that time, which limits hands on deck to send such documents in a timely manner. From there, begin building a relationship. If you don't already have one with the soon-to-be former teachers that serve the students you could possibly have in your classroom, come fall, in my experience as a principal, we get pulled in so many directions, especially the spring semester. We would welcome educators wanting to be proactive by looking ahead, rallying us to do the same. Contact parent or caregiver. Once you have a solid class list, which may be further into the spring semester or the latest summer, begin to reach out to parents and or caregivers. You don't want to wait till parent day or when the bell rings the first day of school to realize you may have some kiddos in your classroom that may have a mindset or pattern of behaviors to begin making bad choices. I would recommend a phone call followed by a text and an email if possible. I would share a bit of your background and an opportunity for a meet and greet one-on-one. This will be additional work on the front end, but makes all the difference in shaping your proactive approach instead of reacting to a bad choice from their child. For example, no parent wants to start off a relationship with their child's teacher with us saying, "Miss Smith, I know we've not had a chance to meet, but Jacob came into my classroom today and flipped a desk. He's currently in the assistant principal's office. We need you to meet us at the school as soon as possible." You have reacted to that child's bad choice when some proactive measures like reviewing prior records, speaking with a former teacher, and then meeting with parents could have given you feedback that Jacob likes to eat breakfast at school to help him transition into the school day and also gives meds an opportunity to kick in and stabilize mood. On the first day, they don't offer breakfast, so this upset him. Last, create a student information sheet, a pretty common practice, but felt it needed to be mentioned as either a new concept or a refresher to teachers. This is typically done on the first day of school or week of school. I would recommend that you bring to administration to add this to enrollment. Saves time on the front end. Now let's move inside the classroom. Sorry, wrong way. Regardless if you're a special educator or a general educator, regardless of the age group you will teach this year, your space needs to mirror the students you serve. So here are some examples. Kindergarten, elementary classroom. Many of us know that those are some active type students with a curious mind. You will have a variety of academic levels at this point, specifically in reading and language arts. So lots of visuals and colors are ideal. You want to keep them moving and engaged with perhaps centers. Centers representing an area in your room with a designed activity to enhance learning. For instance, shape bingo. One student calls out the shapes, others take the shape to mark their card. You want to set the stage with simple structure from the beginning to eliminate bad choices and reward good ones. A few simple rules that you discuss on day one and stick to regardless of what happens. If you would like a student to raise their hand before speaking, one will test that rule. You simply point to the rule and quietly remind them. Wait as long as it takes. This is key. As soon as they comply, you throw out a reward. Candy, even if one M&M. It's a go-to for me. Let's turn the tables. Now a middle school classroom is obviously going to look a bit different. You have some longevity on your side with former school records, teachers, and staff that can help set the stage in your room. We've hit an age where emotions can be all over the place. Here are a few setup ideas. A lounge area to talk through an assignment or build relationships. A quiet area to enjoy a book, to think and work through the emotions of the night or day. A resource area, whether that be filled with books, iPads, or games. If you're fortunate, you may have a Promethean board. I would suggest a handful of desks to be placed here for direct instruction. Same when it comes to structure, ensuring to promote positive behaviors. Simple rules that are reviewed consistently and stick to no matter what. They will all test you, and that can be a tough spot in the beginning. No one likes to be the bad guy. In the end, they will have better respect for you and even more good choices. Again, a reward for ones that follow your rules. Candy still works. I typically upgrade to Starburst at this age. If you think about it, same concepts as an elementary classroom, school design, just centered around the student to serve. Full circle, high school. This one can be a little bit tricky as they begin to change classes more often, which brings lots of students in and out with short increments of time to reach them. Pending the subject matter is going to mold your classroom. For instance, if you're a math teacher, a traditional desk style with a few areas of ones that require less noise to pay attention, a Promethean board, devices connected to them, so icebreakers to get them in their seats, brief instruction, time to work through some problems, ask some questions, and then a bit of downtime, 3 to 5 minutes. However, same concept with setting structure in the beginning and sticking to it. At this age, they get a bit bolder. Words and actions can come at you like darts. I would recommend no reaction. Point or gently remind them the rules with a standoff until they comply. Candy still works because who doesn't love it? Although in my experience, praise works better with this age since they usually lack self-confidence. Really look for any opportunity you can let students know they're doing well in your classroom beyond grades. You want to raise them up and not tear them down. The world does enough of that for us. Now let's dive into the meat of it. Hand in hand, behavior and academics. If you don't have behaviors under control in your classroom, academic learning will never take place. As mentioned in the previous slide, simple rules. What is important to you? For instance, here are a few of my go-to. 1, please raise your hand before speaking during instruction time only. I set this limit so if we are in the lounge area, creates a safe space to speak up and open the floor for discussion. 2, please be seated in the classroom when the bell rings. I feel this is important. We teach in middle and high school. They need to begin realizing time, schedules, and responsibilities. Be kind. This one is simple. I do not tolerate name calling, ugly tones, bullying any time that does not have the person's feelings taken into consideration before speaking it, rather that be in front or behind a screen. In the beginning, you may not get as far down the road with academics, but setting the stage for what type of behaviors are tolerated in your classroom is key. In terms of planning, keep that in mind, as well as what box of goodies, tangible and non-tangible, will you have them to choose from. They love to have a voice in their decision. So many things are out of their control. So any little thing you can give them will help. Who is in your room academically? As mentioned previously, the proactive approach is key. You need to know who is in your room before they get there. This is not down to a fine science, as you will have a handful of students completely brand new. Regardless, you're going to want to use assessments as a tool to unpack young minds in an effort to reach them. For starters, informal assessments be a quick, easy resource to help give some data to guide lessons. My go-to are tests, quiz, and surveys. Then you got a more formal approach: observations, presentations, entry slip. I like to observe my students in various settings to get a bigger picture. Presentations don't have to be in front of their peers. You can let them use their creativity through software programs like Canva to showcase their work. Entry slips are a quick reference to track progress while highlighting what subject matter may need to review or which students might need additional assistance. You want to do this in the beginning and all through the school year to ensure students are not overlooked or fall through the cracks. Who's in the room? Let's dive into behaviors. Many of us may know the ABCs when reflecting to student behaviors. Just in case, let's do a refresher. Antecedent, a thing or event that existed before or logically precedes another. For example, you're sitting on the couch, petting your cat. He suddenly swipes at your hand and scratches you. The antecedent is you petting your cat. Behavior, a way in which someone acts, especially towards others. Staying on course with our first example, your behavior could be that you jump or yell at the cat. Consequences, result of action or condition. The cat runs off in fear. The cat responds with a bite, or you're upset with your reaction towards the cat. Which way will you choose when it comes to the behavior that the students portray in your classroom? This is a skill that takes practice and a proactive approach. The time you took and begin in building the relationship and learn about your kiddos ahead of time will help with the antecedent piece of the student behavior as well as the outcome. Here is a scenario on a higher level of severity. The first day of school, Bassem comes into your classroom, looks at the clock, screams, tears the clock off the wall, tosses it at your head, and then charges you, grabs your hair. Students begin to scream, running out of the room. Nearby staff come and rescue and help escort Bassem to a common area. As a teacher, you are scared, traumatized. Once those emotions settle, I urge you to peel back the layers, ask questions, and try to figure out why. Believe it or not, Bassem feels the same with his behavior that pushed him to harm others. It won't happen instantly, but eventually you'll begin to seek answers like, Bassem is OCD and does not want to be late for class. That day, his single mother got up late. The bus got caught in traffic, which caused him to be late. These things are going to happen. Antecedent, Bassem was late to class. Behavior, physical aggression. Consequence, removed from the class. However, if you do a few things to modify Bassem's environment, like remove the clock so he doesn't obsess over it, if he is late, he goes to a quiet place until he can come in the classroom with positive behavior. And if he begins to get upset at any time, he can get a break. Lots of communication with everyone from parents, bus driver, Bassem, and fellow educators that work with him on this action plan with consistent review to see what needs to be changed to perfect it. Let's turn the table to a scenario that might be a bit more common. A group of students are in the academic center. One begins tapping her pencil, yet another student that begins to rock, turn their head to look at them. Observation and proactivity is key here. Most educators will plan ignore. Lightly address that pencil tapping may not be appealing to their peers. Both students thought ignore your request and tap louder. Rocking gets swifter. This is when a reward chart could be helpful. I recommend reminding students what they can earn for positive interaction with their peers. No one likes to lose anything. In either scenario, you want to know who is in your room and have a plan on how to respond to them while giving them an opportunity to make good choices. In planning, you want to know what to look for in an effort to know who they are and what makes them tick. In researching for this presentation, I ran across a video on stimming. We'll take a moment to view it.
Right, Flick. What's stimming?
So stimming is short for self-stimulatory behaviour. So basically it's when you're kind of repetitively tapping into a sense, but yeah, we've got all our fidget toys here to demonstrate. Got the sort of cliched autistic stims like flapping and rocking and, you know, maybe even sort of spinning.
Yeah, hair twirling.
Hair twirling, definitely. Yeah. And then ones that maybe aren't so movement based, so things like, you know, kind of watching lights or little raindrops going down the window. Yeah. And then you've got like humming and things like that, echolalia and palilalia, so loads of different ways that you can stim.
And as long as it's not harming you or others, then stimming is perfectly safe, right?
Yeah, there's so many good reasons that we stim. It can aid with memory, it can also help with concentration an awful lot. Stimming can help with regulation, sort of emotional regulation, but also from a sensory point of view as well. And it's just jolly fun.
It's so much fun.
It's just fun to stim.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's the best.
How will you respond? If a student covers their ears, avoidance is surfacing. Loud noise, bullying from another student, they can be pretty sneaky about it. Could be the cause. I would recommend eliminating the noise. Offer a quiet location in the room with hand gestures. Additional noise is not needed at the time. Sometimes giving space and time works. Legs begin to swing. They're bored, looking to escape. I would suggest staying close to the exit, pointing their attention in another direction, or giving them a task to do. I have used a retention band around the legs of the desk to give them control on the area to swing legs without being disruption to others. Hand flapping. This may be overstimulating due to environment, crowd, or heightened emotion. At times, it's a way to regulate those emotions as a coping skill. Relationship building and observation, as well as communication with family on why, which will help you lead to how you will respond. Fidgets in their chair. Similar to when legs begin to swing, bored, needing a change in activity, or perhaps something to do with their hands. A fidget device is helpful, or a stuffed cushion in their chair, similar to a flat yoga ball. Begins to rock. Hand flapping and rocking may be one and the same. Similar reasons like overstimulating or an ingrained behavior to regulate emotions during stressful situations. As an educator, just keep an eye on it and ensure that coping is not leading to aggression. Reactive approach. Only two ways, fight or flight. Let's unpack that. Fight. A raised voice to get the student attention. Single out the student in front of their peers. Ask the student to leave the room. Threaten to contact the administrator, SRO, and/or parents. Flight. You ask all the students to leave the room immediately. You call for help. You and the students stay together until help arrives. Keep distance with an exit in sight in case the situation escalates. Proactive approach. Same two ways, fight or flight. Fight. A calm voice at eye level with arm-length distance to begin addressing the behavior. Ask the student to speak with you one-on-one. Ask the student if they would like to speak with you after class or outside the classroom. Open communication with staff and parents in a positive manner. Flight. You ask the student if they would like a break outside of the classroom. You call for help to watch your class while you take a break with the student. You and the student stay together until they're calm and able to resume activities. Keep distance with an exit in sight in case the situation escalates. Behavior before academics. As mentioned before, if you don't have behavior under control in your classroom, academic learning will never take place. This is typically not a fan favorite among administration, or sometimes even parents. Some will have the mindset that this is instant. If you were a good teacher, you would have this under control from the beginning. Quite the contrary. Research shows the potential impact to address behaviors before academics will promote overall student success. As a student begins earning rewards, accountability among the student will as well. Positive reinforcements for the students increased desirable behavior. Modeling behavior and taking time to teach desired social skills will assist the student in mimicking the instructor, thus increasing active listening and provide the student the opportunity to practice such skill. If the instructor is unable to provide intervention, the student will have decreased learning, continued disruptive classroom behavior, and a decreased learning for the entire class. That being said, having an open discussion with parents and administration on the front end, sharing research and resources to support your claims goes a long way. Now let's talk about us guiding a child from bad choices to good choices. Every action serves a function. Understanding the role those actions play will help you find appropriate reinforcers and give you more insight into why challenging behaviors occur. My top 4: sensory. Block the sensory reinforcement. Attention. Planned ignoring. Escape. Continue with the demand. Tangible. Withhold tangible item when student is engaging in negative behavior. Let's circle back to the action of you petting your cat, and he swats and tries to scratch you. Once emotions have settled, go back as soon as possible to peel back the layers and look for the understanding behind the why. Why did your cat not like you petting him? He usually does. Was there a distraction in the room? Is he in distress or pain? Did something happen earlier in the day to upset him? Did he give you a sign he was done with you touching him? Needed to be close to you, but not physical contact. Once you get an understanding the role those actions play, will help you find an appropriate reinforcer. For instance, the next time your cat is near you, place your hand nearby or next to him. Observe his actions. If he nudges, like he may want you to pet him, then do 1 stroke or 2. He does that without swatting, are trying to scratch you, then praise him with perhaps a cat treat. Repetition, consistency, and time will guide your cat from going to bad choices of scratching you to a good one of allowing pets. When working with students, this is going to be a lot of trial and error. I urge you to speak individually with each student, find their likes, dislikes, give them praise for the smallest action is going to be helpful in building that relationship. For example, Bassam gets in line for lunch, does it without talking or getting distracted. Recognition or praise for this simple act can make all the difference. Giving every student an opportunity to earn your praise, recognition, and approval and reward is a daily occurrence. There are a ton of reward boards and behavior incentives out there you can implement in your classroom. Find one that works best for you and the kids you serve. I personally like the point system. 1 point for positive peer interaction, 1 point for positive staff interaction, 1 point for staying on task, and 1 point for following directions. If you earn all 4 points, you get a 5th bonus point. The points get tallied up weekly for the students to receive levels. Based on those levels is what type of reward they can earn. This is when insight and knowing your students well comes into play. What will they work towards? Extra screen time? Candy? DoorDash? In action, a teacher needs to remind them on only a handful of times they're working towards earning their point if they begin to stray from, let's say, staying on task. After several attempts, simply let them know in a discreet way they did not earn that point for the day, but can work towards the other points and then try again either later in the day if you had them all day, or the next class if you just had them for one period. However, play around with a few positive behavior supports and reward incentive systems to see which one best fits your teaching style and the students you serve. This is going to take time. You may not reach all your goals academically. You may not get Bassam to quit obsessing over time, but celebrate your wins, every little bitty one. Bassam can now sit through the instruction piece before heading off to his safe, quiet space. However, he no longer screams, attacks you, but will still keep asking you the time. This may get nerve-wracking, but a part of the gig is to ensure that the needs are met of the students we serve. Don't let others bring in negative energy with comments like, Bassam does not do that in my class. Responses like, I'm happy to hear he's doing well in your class. Bassam does prefer art over reading. Or, why has Bassam not met his IEP goal this year? Our response is, we worked really hard this year on less bad choices and more good ones. Here's the data on behaviors throughout the year. Bassam may not have met that objective or goal, but here's the work samples or data of what he has done academically this year. This will help create a platform to stand on when you move forward with the conversation. But at the end of the day, this is not a race. And taking time to be proactive, build relationships, and meeting the child where they are makes all the difference. There are no bad kids in the world, just bad choices. Let them move forward towards the greater good. We can talk about change. We have to be part of the change, and it starts with you. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time for this presentation today. I hope it was helpful. I would appreciate any feedback, good or bad. My email is jennifer.ballard at faculty.uagc.edu. Have a blessed day. Here are my available resources if you'd like to dive a bit deeper into the theories and practices discussed in this presentation. Again, and thank you and enjoy the conference.
Dr. Jennifer Ballard-Barkett, that was an amazing session. Thank you, and I hope you will pick another one right after this.